Hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Action Toon Bros. I'm Ben Sturgeon.
I'm Matthew Lewis.
And this is episode...
10, should be.
10, yes. Episode 10 of our podcast, which is the Legend of Korra. And this is an exciting time because we're actually starting Season 2 right now.
I was also going to say it's also exciting because this is the first episode we're recording since the podcast actually went up live on iTunes and YouTube.
Yeah, oh my goodness, personal stuff and all that. But anyway, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about these episodes.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we're going to jump right into Season 2 premiere, Rebel Spirits.
Rebel Spirits.
Starts off with the narrator talking about how it was 6 months since Amon and the Equalists have been defeated. Since then, the council that Tenzin was on is disbanded completely.
Thank goodness.
Oh my goodness,
They were
right?
wildly incompetent and very easily stopped and controlled by Amon.
Right. But they did, however, Republic City did hire their first, vote in their first president.
Yep.
Also, we also know that Boomy is retired from his United Forces and is going to live on Air Temple Island with Tenzin.
Yep.
Ooh, boy.
No tension there, I'm sure.
And the last thing, all we know is that, Korra and Mako are the talk of the town because they're a couple now. Yay!
Yay!
But meanwhile, as all of this is happening, trouble is coming forth in the Southern Water Tribe.
Yep. We open up by seeing a weird... Is it a fishing ship?
Yeah, it's a
It has
fishing
to be.
ship.
Yeah, it's an old man and a young guy. And they get attacked by a big-ass squid-like spirit. Attacks the boat.
Right, just big old tentacles, and it's a spirit because no normal creature would glow that way.
Oh, yeah.
As that happens... we finally get our title card saying what the episode is, and then we get to see our first pro bending in a long time.
I was going to say before that this is also the first book, the seasons are called books. This is the first one in all of Avatar that's not an actual element. Oh
yes, that's right, because this is spirits.
Yeah, the first one was air because that's what
Korra was trying to learn.
But also that was the last one after Aang's water, earth, and fire.
Right, yeah, because Aang had to learn all the elements, and that's all he was. Now this one,
but
he goes from air to spirits.
Yeah.
Ooh, crazy. Now we can talk about pro bending.
Pro bending.
Oh yeah, it's back.
Yep, the Firefarers versus the Rhino Lions.
Yeah, that's what it was. And we get Bolin giving a nice pep talk about how they sucked in the last game, and now that was in the past. And as he's giving his pep talk, we see his two teammates, the ever so. Two random guys.
Yeah, two randos. Who are not,
two random
look
guys.
Vaguely like Mako and Korra from the back. I think it was a gag.
Yeah, I was going to say they kind of do, but not really. And long story short, the Fire Ferrets get immediately knocked out in the first... even the announcer was talking about how it was a record on fastest knockout ever.
Yep, the fastest knockout in pro bending history.
Yeah, there it was. And as that happens, Bolin's like, where's Mako when you need him? Cut to Mako.
Yeah, being a dope-ass motorcycle cop.
Oh, yeah. Chasing
really cool.
chasing down some triads and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Actually doing a really good job,
I'm glad
being a badass and all that stuff.
The bending gangs being back is really goddamn cool.
Oh, my God. I was so happy when I saw them. And then, of course, after a nice, awesome cut, car chase and all that stuff, he finally knocks them over, catches them, and he goes... Looks like you had some car trouble.
Yeah.
Good thing the police are here. I'm like...
Nice one-liner.
Exactly. I'm just like... I wanted to feel bad, like, oh my God, are you serious? But at the same time, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I gotta love a nice cop one-liner after pulling a cool badass move like that.
Exactly. So, he catches them and all that. And then we cut, another cut, to... Asami, who is piloting a plane.
Yeah, learning to fly. That is very cool.
Yep. And of course, after she lands it, and she tells some person she works with, I guess, that everything's good to go. They're ready to ship out. And the guy who was talking to her is like, not to bring up the elephant rhino in the room, but your dad's in prison, and because of that, nobody wants to deal with us. We're almost bankrupt.
Yep, Future Industries is in big trouble.
Yes, but she, rest assured, she's going to be talking to someone in the South Pole who can help them out.
Don't jump ahead yet.
No, that's literally... Yeah, she actually mentioned she's going to the South Pole.
Yeah, that's going to be important.
Cut to Air Temple Island.
Yep, Korra doing some airbending training, I guess.
Well, more like she's doing air scooter races with the kids. Yeah. And what she does, and she's almost gonna not win the race until she avatar states.
Of course, she
and
cheats.
Wins it.
Yep.
And of course, after finding out that she used the avatar state so loosely, Tenzin's all upset because, it's not an episode unless Tenzin's upset about something.
Of course, Korra's doing something wrong, but also when we see Boomy being silly with them, we get some real cool stuff with Boomy, who is voice actor Richard Reel. I know from a ton of stuff. He's from West Wings and Tremors and Buffy.
Wait, he's in Tremors?
Yeah,
Which one?
I think he's the first one possibly, but he's in Buffy. He was in like 3 out of the 6 Star Trek series at the time.
So Boomy's voice actor is really famous.
Oh yeah. He also does like I don't know for like what the heck is that? Wilford Brimley looking guy who like does like impressions of him too. He's really great. He's a really funny dude. But yeah, Boomy's great and silly and just being like a great immature awesome dude.
Oh yeah, Boomy is one of my favorite non-benders ever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so Tenzin's like, Korra, you need to actually learn airbending. But here, we're gonna go on a vacation to all the air temples.
Yeah. I was like, was that Aang's goal in the beginning of the first season, I believe? He goes to his.
Yeah, he does go to the other ones, but it was more of a vacation, not a actual learning about his past and stuff like that.
I think doesn't Tenzin vaguely allude to we're gonna visit all the temples just like Aang did when he was doing his stuff.
Yes, yeah. He did mention that because Aang actually did, but Aang wasn't anything important. He just wanted to visit them because it's been 100 years.
Yeah, I was like, did we see all 4 of them? I remember the upside down one where Sparky Boom Man attacked. I remember the first one where his people were all dead. I think
look, there's the one where everyone was dead. There's the upside down one. There's the one with the where the zeppelins are created, the hot air balloons.
For the attack on the fire tribe.
I think we do see the 4th one, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But back on topic.
Mm-hmm.
So Tenzin and Boomy gets a really big kick out of Vacation Tenzin, as it's now going to be unofficially called. And, of course, Tenzin's like, no, you're not coming. But Korra wants to lighten up the mood by saying they're going to the Southern Spirits Festival?
Glacier Spirits
Festival.
Yep.
Thank you.
In the South Pole.
Yep. Where there's it's a festival, there's rides, there's games, there's fried food. And, of course, Tenzin is not at all thrilled.
He's like, ugh, what do I say?
And he's even more unthrilled because, his mom, who is Boomy's mom too, invited Boomy, so Boomy gets to come too.
Of course, yeah, Katara still being dope.
Yeah, of course, Katara's the best. Then we cut to...
I think we go on the boat ride. With,
it's on the boat where Mako and Korra are talking. Mako regales in his tales
cool
of being
awesome. His cool cop stories are awesome.
And Korra is displeased because, Tenzin's doing all the strict stuff and all she does is train and stuff. And Mako does the... whatever a boyfriend does and tries to reassure her that what's going on is good by, letting her know, Tenzin just wants to help you become the Avatar kind of thing. And Korra, in typical fashion, gets up, gets mad, walks away, and even Mako's like, man, catching triads is much easier than having a conversation with her.
Yeah, she's very difficult. But also, you skipped over the cool list of one-liners that Mako has.
I did not actually write them down.
I didn't write any of them down myself, but I knew that she just had a whole list.
One of them was the one that Korra liked was when you get to prison, tell him Mako sent you. The other one, I remember the other one. Looks like you should have put a little bit more try in triad. Oh my goodness!
I was so happy. Those are so good.
It was great.
It's so funny.
But then, after those one-liners and after everything we said, we finally get to the South Pole.
Oh, yeah.
Where Katara and, first time ever seeing, Tenzin's sister, Kaya.
Yep.
Everyone, they're all happy to see everyone.
Of course.
And Bolin notices there's a lot more people. And he's like, whoa, look at all these people.
But before that, Kaya, voiced by Lisa Edelstein from House. She was Cuddy, the director in House, yeah. And also from Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, she's one of the main characters on that. But yeah, she's on a ton of stuff too. I loved her on House, so I loved her as Kaya. And also, we found out she used to be.
I can actually see, knowing that she's in House, I can actually see the resemblance.
Oh yeah. But also, we mentioned that she beats up Tenzin a lot, and he's just
like, dude, yeah, beats up Tenzin. rough sister, but also pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. when we see before the ships, that dope ass beautiful Northern Water Tribe ship, we see Unalaq, Korra's dad. Once again by Action Toon Bros veteran James Remar from Dexter, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Icicle Senior in Young Justice.
Yep.
And Sex and the City and stuff like that. Also, he makes a joke about not liking Mako because he's dating his daughter.
Yeah, but it's not.
He jokes about
it's a joke, and it doesn't last long because even Korra's is like, come on, be cool. Embarrassing me.
Yeah, that was really good.
Then the ship comes in. That
Northern
beautiful
Water Tribe ship.
Yep. And we get the chief, who is not introduced yet by name. However, his name is Unalaq.
Yep, Unalaq, and we see Eska and Desna, two of my favorite characters.
I can see why you would like them.
They are great. I absolutely loved them back in the day when they first got introduced. They were fantastic.
But Bolin's like, ooh, look at the ladies.
Yeah.
And, Korra's like, that's Eska and Desna. And Desna's a dude. And Bolin, just like me, not gonna lie, pulled so which one's Desna?
Yeah, right. He was just totally down for both.
I think they decided to go with Final Fantasy ways of making guys because they both look like girls.
Yeah, they're both very feminine looking, but they are dope as hell.
Now, again, just to point out, we already know it's Unalaq, you and I do, but the people watching, he's just known as the chief of the Northern Water Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll break it like that, but I'll point out when he finally gets called Unalaq, just to show how ridiculous this introduction is.
I'm about to say, I get my notes, like, just next thing that happened is we find out that is Korra's uncle.
Yes,
so
they do call...
Okay.
Well, it's not necessarily through the fact that Korra says that's my uncle.
Yeah.
We find out that Unalaq and Unalaq are brothers.
Yeah.
And then everyone can fill in the pieces.
I'm just filtering everything through Korra's POV.
Right.
We see that he's incredibly spiritual, which is this world's equivalent to very religious.
Yes.
Which is a very important theme for this entire season.
Indeed. And of course he's like, oh, the South isn't as spiritual. And this festival used to be about, being all holy and spiritual and respect of the spirits and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Tonrock's like, look, traditions change over time. Mm-hmm. I mean... it doesn't have to always be like that. We're allowed to, kind of... And, of course, Unalaq's like, come on now.
Oh, yeah, Unalaq also, I think at this point, he talks to Korra saying he knows about the spirit attacks on the southern ships.
Yep, that's actually when he brings it up.
And he wants to teach her spiritual training.
And, of course, Tenzin and Tonrock are just like, no.
Yep. They're like, oh, come on, leave it alone.
Just no. Which... After that happens, and after Unalaq fails in succeeding in being the instructor, we cut to a smaller yet very ornate-looking boat with Asami and Bolin. And Asami's like, okay, listen, this guy, Varrick, who's the best character in Season 2 so far.
He's great.
He's not only one of the richest guys in the world, but he literally controls all of the global shipping business.
Yep.
So, you're going to be my assistant, Bolin, and don't say anything. And, of course, Bolin's like, yeah, sure. Cut to what we assume is Varrick.
We get the intro, yeah.
A very fashionably dressed up man sitting on, like, a pillow of some sort with a whole bunch of people.
Oh, yeah.
Just holding his head in, like, as if he was thinking really, really hard. And after a few seconds, he just opens his eyes and goes, did you see that? Levitation. I was a foot off the ground. Everyone starts applauding, like, yeah. But then Bolin's just like, you were literally just sitting on a pillow. Varrick, angry, just goes literally face touching face, which is like one of his iconic things.
Oh, yeah.
And goes, are you saying I was not levitating? And Bolin's like, no, you weren't. And of course Varrick is like, well, why didn't anyone say so? Now I look like an idiot. And normal rich people guy, Swami, you're fired.
And then he just bows out the room. That's hilarious.
That was great.
Yeah, we see Varrick surrounded by like yes men and women, just like, yo, you're great. And that's just he loves Bolin just for telling him the truth like that.
Right? Yeah. Calls him Masami's tiger shark. He just likes the straightforwardness, and of course, Varrick is like flaunting a whole bunch of things, like hey, I'm this and this, and his assistant Julie cannot forget.
It's spelled Z-H-U, so it's
Zhu
or Zoo.
It's pronounced as Zhu.
Zhu, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's I think they went with Chinese spellings of things.
Presumably, yes. But Julie is really dope, and we see that Varrick has invented movers.
Yeah, movers. Or, for those who don't know what movers are, moving pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And we get to hear the second most iconic line in Season 2. Julie, do the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a big thing. And we also meet Ginger.
Oh, yep, Ginger. I'm sorry, Ginger who?
And that's very, she like poses, and of course, Bolin's like immediately like, whoa.
Yeah, Bolin is like, boom, like, oh my goodness, yeah. And as all of this is happening, Asami's like, I kind of want to make this deal with you, and then Varrick goes, look me in the eyes, does the face-to-face thing, literally. And after, 10 seconds of silence and just them staring at each other, Varrick is just like, we have a deal!
Yep.
Just instantly.
Yeah, and so like, let's go to my rocket boat. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yes, my rocket boat. And so he just walks on off, and everyone joins except for Asami and Bolin. And, of course, Asami's happy.
Yeah.
So she's just like, you're really good at being an assistant, Bolin. Even
Give
though...
him a big hug for helping this goddamn crazy-ass negotiations that just happened.
Yes, and, of course, as you all know, Varrick is literally the Season 2 equivalent of best character, just under Bolin. Because Bolin is
Bolin's
best.
always the best. But, Varrick's freaking hilarious. He reminds me, of course, of Tony, the comic book Tony Stark. His weird hair and his, crazy mustache, and yeah.
Really? Yeah. See, I knew there was a difference between Robert Downey and the comic.
Of course,
I didn't know it was similar to Varrick.
Yeah, Varrick's very much more, eccentric and silly. But there is, very early, before he matured from all the crazy that happened to him, Tony Stark, it's
true,
great.
very true.
This one we cut back to Unalaq, continues to be displeased with the festival and how unspiritual the festival has become. And Korra has become.
Right, and he tries to be Korra's instructor in the spirits. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Tonraq, sorry, they both have similar
Tonraq
names.
And Unalaq, yeah.
Tonraq's just like, we said no. And Korra's just like, ugh. And that's when we reveal that Aang did not have the White Lotus put her into seclusion. It was actually Tenzin and Korra's dad.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when that gets dropped.
Yeah, that was a very interesting take. But also, I'll say, she's very upset about that, but we also say that it did help her learn the elements safely and quickly and very efficiently, more than Aang did, who just had to learn them on the fly while on the run.
Yes, I mean, that is very true. And actually, even in the rest of the episodes, they don't point that out. But I mean, that is a good thing to note. And then, after Unalaq does his whole thing, Varrick, this is the moment where we finally get to hear Unalaq's name. And it's just, on the side, on the fly, Varrick says it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, is this at the party or the... Or
Yeah, all this happened at the feast, because after the whole thing with Varrick, it was at the
Yeah, I was going to
feast.
say, we see Tenzin in the crowd, acting very immature around his family, just because that's how you always act when you get back to home with your family. It's like, I'm back in my old school, shitty little kid stuff with his siblings beating him up all the time.
Right.
But yeah.
And then, of course, after that whole seriousness and all that silliness...
Unalaq gives a speech to the whole crowd about how unspiritual everyone's become and just, shaming them. And then,
pretty much.
Varrick's like, hey, that's great. Come on, Unalaq, everybody.
Yeah.
Now, Wushu's dancing otter penguins. And I was just like, yeah. Wushu's a hilarious little clown dude. It was great.
It was just an amazing little nod. And we finally got to see otter penguins again.
Yeah, we haven't seen them since episode 1, right? Yeah, episode 1 of Aang with the penguins. Penguin sledding.
Yeah, all the way back there.
Yeah, with the penguin
beginning. But then we go back to the festival where Bolin looks and sees...
I'll go before that much of cuteness, couple scenes with Mako and Korra being annoying.
How do Sokka and Toph say it in the comics? It's too much oogie.
Yeah, too much oogie stuff.
Yeah, too much oogie. And of course, Bolin sees Eska and Desna, and he's just like, time to make my move.
Oh yeah.
Goes over and does the Bolin way of flirting, and. How would you describe how Eska and Desna
I have it written down here. She hisses at him.
Well, right. I mean, their personality. I would say
I said robotic in my notes.
Okay, that's a good way of saying it.
They're very robotic.
They're very bland because
there's kind of a vague non-canon reason. I'll try to see if I remember, but the creator had different plans for why they behave like that than what actually turns out to be the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'll bring that up if I remember to way later.
But seriously, we're talking both of them. One of them as a guy voice, the other as a girl voice. They literally have this very monotonic kind of.
Yeah, I liked it.
No. I like it too. It's just Their personalities, but
yeah. Also, we use fucking the damn audio with all overlaps on this, but yeah, I love Eska and Desna, and also, of course, Desna, a voice I didn't know from much, but Eska, did you pick up who her voice is?
No, I have not.
It's Aubrey Plaza.
Really?
Yeah, from Scott Pilgrim, Parks and Rec, a ton of other things,
what?
Legion. Yeah, it's Aubrey Plaza. That's why she's so great.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
Well, long story short, Bolin hits on Eska, and Eska's like, yes, I will make you mine.
Yeah.
As a boyfriend or as a slave? Yes.
And
literally.
Bolin gets dragged away.
Immediately, her first order is win me prizes, and it drags him, literally drags him away.
Yeah, we see a cute little Aang and Momo carnival contest.
Yep.
With like squirting, was it Aang squirting water in?
Yeah, it was. Aang squirting it in. I thought it was. I thought it was Appa, but
no, they win the Appa plushie.
Oh, that's right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like the other.
So many nods.
Of course.
And Korra is talking to Mako about, all of this stuff about how Tenzin and her dad put her in seclusion and blah, blah, blah. They know what's best for me. I hate this, blah, blah. And because of what happened last time,
of course,
Mako tries the other approach, which is just sit, listen, and when she's like, hey, what do you think I should do? He does the, I support you in anything. And of course, that didn't work. Korra being Korra.
That's never gonna be. Yeah.
That's not good enough. So she has to be like, never mind. And for the first time in this entire series, I actually feel sorry for Mako because he's literally trying.
Yeah, well, that's what he has for being such a difficult person like Korra, though, because she is a difficult person all around. That's why you liked her in the first place, I guess, too.
Well, it cut to that night when everyone's sleeping, and Naga just starts randomly howling.
Mm-hmm.
And as Naga's howling, and Korra's like, dude, you're gonna wake everyone up, we see our second spirit.
Mm-hmm. A very cool-looking, bipedal, weird, gecko-looking thing.
Yes, seriously, like
cool
something
looking.
weird. And
they're all also these spirits look very blue and semi-translucent.
Yeah, like a bluish, violet, blackish. Yeah. Like you can tell if there was a color coding for good and bad, these things are bad. Looking at.
Well,
least.
Yeah, we'll see. Do they? We'll get there in a second.
But everyone sees the spirit, freaks out, and start fighting it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool fighting animation with them.
Amazing.
With Mako and Bolin and Korra.
And everything doesn't work. Like bending is not doing anything.
We also find out her dad is a waterbender.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
You could assume, but it's not 100%
No,
certain.
you're right because we've never actually seen him fight up to this point. Yeah. So, yep. Korra's dad is a waterbender, and all of a sudden, as all of this is failing,
Tenzin tries to communicate with the spirit and fails. It knocks him away as well.
Oh, that's right. He's just like, "Why are you mad?" And the spirit literally just does the silent turn, and it's smack.
Yep, and then after that fails, we also see Korra goes into the Avatar state.
Oh yeah, that's right. She Avatar states and even does all the different elements in the Avatar state. Even that doesn't work.
That also is not good enough.
Literally, every single thing they try does not work.
Oh yeah.
Until Unalaq appears and does this weird... I mean, it looks like he's bending, but he's not. And the spirit gets pacified, starts glowing yellow, and then... is exorcised from the plane of existence.
Yep.
And after that, Korra's just like, that was awesome. How did you do that? And, of course, Unalaq's like, I could teach you all of these things if you join me.
I'm the only one who can teach the Avatar.
Yes. And, of course, Tenzin and Tonrock are like, no, you shouldn't do this kind of thing. And Korra's like, okay, listen, I'm fed up with this. Tenzin, thanks, but I'm going with this guy, and that's that. And, of course... Tenzin is saddened about this, but he respects the wishes of the Avatar. Mm-hmm. And the next morning, he and his family start packing up to go to the Southern Air Temple. When Katara, good old Katara, is like, "Hey, see these two? Your brother and sister? Come on, take them with you. They're your family, and this is supposed to be a family vacation. And how can Tenzin say no to his mom?" And so, so Kaya, Bumi, Tenzin, and family get to go on Vacation Tenzin.
Oh, yeah. And the final line of the episode, after that, we cut back to Korra and Unalaq with the line, Unalaq has great plans for Korra.
And that's where that episode ends.
Oh, yeah.
Now, because this was the question I had after this episode, when I first watched this episode.
Yep.
This doesn't seem right.
I was going to say, my question for, like, the between episodes was going to be, at this point, were you getting any weird vibes from Unalaq?
From Unalaq?
Or just from the whole situation?
Well, from Unalaq, he did kind of give off a bit of a sinister vibe at first, but then I realized he literally just wants to teach the spirituality of things.
He's just an incredibly pious person.
Yeah.
In a vaguely pious time of the world. And it's just like, you seem very weird with how, like, strongly religious and old school you seem compared to everyone else. It's just like,
well, then again, the water tribes are a bit more old school, quote unquote, than everyone else.
Yeah,
compared to Republic City.
Compared to what you'll see in future seasons, they are very like, well, they still look like this. It's very
right. Weird. But the other thing that really confused me is, if I remember correctly, Aang and probably all the other avatars before, they learned about the spirit world on their own and just by going out and doing things.
Just like sitting, or like Aang connected to the spirit world at the end of season 1 when he tried to save the water tribe, right?
No, it was before that when he was in the forest.
The panda.
Yeah, the panda.
That's what I was gonna bring that up for the next episode about the way the way that weird panda spirit looked. Like, a weird monster-looking thing compared to, like...
We'll get to that, but still, like, Aang literally didn't know what he was doing and had to figure it out on his own.
I don't even remember what the hell all happened in that episode. Is that when he saw that weird monkey?
He somehow went into the spirit world, and that's when he didn't meet Ko.
Not yet.
He didn't meet that weird monkey who was just like, go away.
Or that weird faceless monkey. But that's like, what?
Wait, the faceless
now I'm thinking
monkey
that
going on
monkey.
that
was the Ko mission.
Yeah, there's a different time when he goes to the spirit realm when there's like just monkey meditating, and he sees Aang and he wants nothing to do with him. Just like, go away. I'm not going to. And he even tries to ignore him. But so for this way of doing it, for Korra to actually learn through an instructor,
well,
on the ways of the spirit, rather than how. I think every other avatar before her did it, where they just did it on their own somehow and figured it out.
I was gonna say Korra does need a lot of help with a lot of stuff, but I was gonna say, then I remembered Guru Patik.
Who
taught Aang the Avatar state to try to unlock the true power of the Avatar state, which is like total, Buddhist nothingness, no connection to the world.
Actually, technically, what he did was he tried to reopen the Avatar state because Aang couldn't after Azula
killed him.
Yeah. So all he did was reopen it for him.
Yeah, but no, he was trying to get him to like unlock a higher level and like be more in control of it.
Oh yeah,
by having him go full Buddhist, no connections to anything, nothing matters and everything matters, and don't specific ties.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, he did that. I mean, that's why they had pineapple. No, it was banana and onion juice.
Yeah,
banana and onion juice. But but either way, just Unalaq did give me some vibes. And they kind of got quelled because, he's pious, but he is actually wanting to help her out. Yeah. And just the fact that she's learning from an instructor gave me a raised eyebrow because I just want to see how this unfolds.
Yeah. Well, we're only one episode into the season, so we're talking that much about it.
Exactly. Which, speaking of seeing how this unfolds, we get into episode 2, The Southern Lights. We open up with the narrator talking about how...
I was going to say, there was no last time.
Yeah, there was.
In the cut I watched, it wasn't any last time.
I have the Blu-ray.
And I was gonna say, I watched it online, and there was no next time because it aired as a 2-part, I believe.
Was it?
I believe so on TV.
And on the Blu-ray, they treat every single episode as its own episode.
Must have been added later.
Which the narrator, at least from what I saw, was talking about how the Southern Water Tribe is being attacked by spirits, and Unalaq is literally the only one who was able to defeat it. So Korra, actual quote. Korra turns her back on Tenzin to go to Unalaq as the mentor. And of course, Tenzin and family, including Bumi and Kaya, are going to the Southern Air Temple, while Korra stays behind. Can Korra bring balance to the spirits and humans? Insert title card. Cut to the Southern Water Tribe, like where the festival is, where we see just a random tiny little spirit appear and just
overlooking the city. Yep. And then we see some polar camels.
Is that what those were?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know if they were mentioned before, but that's what I wrote in my
notes. No, they were never mentioned at all. Like, this was the first time they've ever been seen.
Okay, yeah, polar camels. I think they look cool as heck.
They really do, yeah. Korra rushes to Unalaq, and Unalaq's like, you're early. She's like, well, yeah, I'm ready to have you teach me how to fight spirits. And Unalaq's like, you're not fighting spirits, but I am going to train you in spiritual ways. That's why we're getting on these polar camels. And it's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, we have to go to the main hub of all spirituality in the South, which is the South Pole, like the actual pole.
Yep, the pole of this world. Mm-hmm. This one we
cut to Vacation Tenzin.
Yep, Tenzin and fam get to the Southern Air Temple. The monks living in the temple
are like cool. Just oh my goodness, yeah.
Oh, and there's a lot of they refer to them as
and there's obviously shenanigans involved, but this is where we actually learn in the episode.
We see Milo get a lemur. Her name's Pokey.
Well, there's that too. And they're just the monks are giving gifts. Like Pema gets a giant,
they're praising
literally
Tenzin.
a giant bouquet of flowers and praising Tenzin, giving him a head shaver that was specifically designed for him. But as all that's happening, this is where we actually learn about Bumi and Kaya a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because Bumi's like, hey, give us some help with this, and one of the random monks is like, oh. I thought you were the servants. And they're like, hey, we're Aang's kids too. The servant's like, wait, you're airbenders? And Kaya's like, no, we're not.
Yeah. Kaya's like, I'm a waterbender, my brother's not a bender.
And that's where we learned that, Kaya and Bumi are not airbenders, where Kaya, like you just said, is water, and Bumi doesn't bend at all.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. And I was just like, ooh, damn.
Right? He's like, ooh, bird.
That hurts. They are so rude to them. It's like, oh, that's really unfortunate.
So now we cut back to, the actual expedition to the South Pole, where Tonrock's, like, insisting that he goes, not only for Korra's well-being.
Oh, yeah, her dad, shows up on a snowmobile.
On a snowmobile. That goes to tell you what they have in this technological age.
Yeah.
But he also warns about the South Pole and something called the Everstorm.
Yeah, really, really cool name. Stealing that for some kind of campaign.
Might as well. I mean, it is a really cool name.
Yeah,
pretty much the way they describe it, it's like a never-ending blizzard.
Yep, and it has blocked the Southern Pole for decades.
Right.
Now that made me curious, like, was that around when Aang was growing up? I assume not.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, they never.
But at this point, we have to assume that it's always been there.
Yeah.
Well, at least then there's this right here, where Unalaq is like, okay, fine, whatever, and he mentions very vaguely that something happened in the past between Unalaq and Tonrock.
Oh yeah.
And they don't go into it. They don't go into it at this time. And of course, Bolin's got this awesome, very Varrick approved
high-tech suit,
polar suit with awesome snowmobile. And
cucumber quats.
Yes, that's right. Dehydrated cucumber quats.
Yeah, I was like that.
Because
sounds like
because the animals aren't the only hybrids.
I know I was like that might be good, not dried, because I hate dried food. I had a horrible experience.
Oh, you don't like freeze dried or anything?
I had a horrible experience as a kid with some freeze dried ice cream. Oh, it was awful and disgusting. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life.
And then of course, as all of this happens, Bolin is having more girlfriend troubles.
No, I would say troubles. Eska's great.
Okay, look. You can look in the eyes of Eska. I'll look in the eyes of Bolin. He had girlfriend troubles. And of course, Unalaq starts telling Korra what exactly she's doing and how she needs to open up the spirit portal in the South Pole. And Korra's like, oh, this is why the spirits are evil.
Oh.
This is when we get to Unalaq saying, no, spirits are never evil. There's just some light and some dark in every single one.
Yep.
When there's unbalance with spirits, darkness takes hold.
Yep, and they're just distressed.
Yeah, exactly. And of course...
But then that made me think about, like, in relation to, like, actual bad spirits, like Ko and his mother. Well, she's kind of neutral, but Ko's definitively bad.
Only because he wants to.
Yeah,
yes.
I guess so.
But Ko's mother is literally, like... If there's ever pure neutral, Ko's mother is that. But then, of course, talking about this whole sealing of the spirit portal and all that stuff, Unalaq also mentions that this has to happen before the winter solstice ends.
We got our ticking clock.
No. That's not the ticking clock. The ticking clock is when Korra mentions that's tomorrow night.
Yeah.
There's our ticking clock.
Of course.
So, they set up set up, camp and all that stuff and have a nice little bonfire. Not really, because Unalaq's like, the spirits are mad because Tonraq is here.
I was gonna say, before we see more spirits following them, before they settle in for the
camp. Just following, but
just following. You see them in the distance, and then then we settle down for the night, and then we talk about Unalaq blames Tonraq.
Yep, and this is where we finally get the backstory between what went on, because even Korra's like, "What happened, Dad?" And of course, Tonraq's just like,
"Oh, he says he was banished."
Yeah, he says he was banished, and then he tells a story how he was the head of the guard, and barbarians attacked the North Pole.
Also, 20 years ago.
20. Yeah, thank you. 20 years ago. That is important.
Oh yeah.
Tonraq was head of the guard and
general,
stuff, and barbarians were attacking. So in normal fashion, they beat the barbarians back to a forest. Tonraq being Tonraq, went to go and capture the barbarians, so he followed them into the forest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in my notes, I was just like, a forest in the Arctic, what the hell?
That is
I immediately was like, what the hell is that?
But wait.
It gets explained, but I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I agree.
When I saw it,
I first saw the forest, I'm just like,
I paused in one of my notes, with 4 exclamation marks, and I was just like, a forest in the Arctic.
Yeah, I mean, but I agree wholeheartely. When I first saw it, I'm just like, how is there a forest in literally sub-zero temperatures? Which is what we find out after Tonraq captures the barbarians and a lot of the forest was destroyed. He learned then and there that it was a spirit forest.
Yep, hallowed ground.
Hallowed. Yeah, that is the word, hallowed ground, as they called it. And of course, the spirits were mad and started attacking the North Pole. And God save the queen. Here comes the savior of the entire world, Unalaq.
Yep.
To pacify the spirits and everything. But since the damage was already done, both to the forest and to the actual North Pole, Tonraq got banished.
Yep.
And so Tonraq went to the South Pole to start a new life. And of course, what's his reason for not telling Korra? Say it with me, kids. He wanted to protect her from the truth.
Yep, and also we find out that he would have been chief.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Bolin makes that comment. Oh, you were going to be the chief, but then this happened, and then Unalaq became the chief. So, no wonder you guys don't like each other, because Bolin is beautiful at reading the room.
Yep, everyone's like, God damn it, Bolin, again.
And, of course, Korra gets upset.
What? Korra gets upset?
but this time at her dad.
Oh, yeah, not
the one person nobody ever thinks that she would ever be mad at.
She's been mad at him already in the last episode. Oh, okay.
We know, but still. And of course, she's not happy about secrets and all that and knowing what's best for her and blah, 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 and she storms off. But we go back to Vacation Tenzin. Yes, I'm putting a trademark on that because that is what it's called.
That's great.
Jinora and Tenzin are in the statue room.
Yep, the one that Aang went to as a kid. When
exactly,
he went to the Southern Waters.
Only the difference is, obviously, there's an Aang statue there now.
Yeah, a very nice Aang statue. Also, I was going to say, Milo zipping around. He bumps into a statue exactly like Aang in the intro to season of the series.
Yep.
It was great.
And of course, Tenzin's like, no, don't. And of course, Jinora is in awe at Aang's statue.
Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, just gets this weird vibe. It's not actually stated she gets a weird vibe, but
She connects to it somehow. She's connected to it.
Somehow connects and she has this gasp moment and looks behind her in kind of fear, I guess.
Yeah, she's
in surprise. There we go, in surprise. And then, really, after that, we go right back to the South Pole, where Tonraq's like, look, you can be mad at me, Korra, and Korra just ignores.
Yeah, she's like, Tonraq's like, come on, we gotta stop. He wants her to stop, doing this, because it's dangerous to go to the polar storm still.
Right, yeah.
And Unalaq's like, no.
And Unalaq's just like, no. And, of course, Unalaq tells Korra that she is the bridge between man and spirit.
Yep.
And this is where he mentions that he's like, the Northern Lights, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the spirits dancing and being happy. The South used to have that too. As you can see, they're not as spiritual. So therefore...
Oh, also he says the 100 Years' War tossed the South out of balance.
Yes. That is a very important
I was going to say, were they really affected that much by it? Oh, I guess everyone left.
I mean, well, that and, Ozai never exactly did anything kind.
Yeah, but I was also going to say that they lost like a lot of their tribesmen and all their waterbenders when the war started.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did.
That's Korra, or Katara was there by herself and everything.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is a good mention because the South did have the lights and everything, but the 100-Year War happened and now everything has fallen out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
The North has come to help them physically, but not spiritually yet. Mm-hmm. And that's where Korra comes in.
Yep, and this is when we finally see the Everstorm and hear some spirits roaring.
Oh, yes. And speaking of which, as they're in the Everstorm, spirits actually attack, and not just... They don't beat the crap out of anyone. They just take their provisions and leave.
Mm-hmm. And Korra tries to do the taming thing that Unalaq did, but it fails, of course.
It fails, but the fact that she got that close, and that was her first time doing it, is actually pretty cool to know.
Oh, yeah, it's very
But
impressive.
Of course, Unalaq is like, yeah, look at me, I can do the thing.
He stops them very easily. And then Eska and Desna...
they say Bolin.
Yeah,
from oh yeah, that's right, because one of the spirits gets into the snowmobile.
Yeah, they ski down the slope really fucking coolly.
with like those awesome ice boots.
Yeah, there's like literally like snow, like
and,
skiing or like snow sledding.
And of course,
really
Bolin
awesome.
inflates because his polar suit can do that.
Yeah, and they just Eska like flicks her hand like giant spikes. Shoot the suit.
Can someone deflate me? Boom.
That was great.
After all that happens, Tonraq once again is like, hey, this is dangerous. We need to leave. And Korra just finally puts her foot down again. And because we all know what happened last time she did this. And she's like, no, Dad. I think you need to leave.
Yep, she kicks her dad out, and he goes with just leaves him behind with his cool snowmobile.
And of course, Mako assures him, everything's going to be fine. Which, as they're wait, is that now?
Korra was like really mean to Mako after like she sends her dad away, I believe.
Well, I don't think that happens yet, but but anyway, yeah, she like makes a comment about like, oh, I wonder whose side you're on, and Mako, being the rational person, is like, there are no sides. We just want to help.
Yeah,
and she actually kind of calms a little bit about that.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm being a jerk a bit,
but. Cut once again to Vacation Tenzin.
Well, I was gonna say before that we see after she's angry at Mako, we see that I don't know if it's Mako or if it's Unalaq that tells her that she needs to trust herself and the past avatars to succeed in the frozen
it's
forest.
Unalaq because Korra's like, wow, I didn't know people. I've never seen anyone actually believe in me, kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, believe in yourself, believe in the past avatars, and you will succeed in the frozen forest she needs to enter to go forward.
Right. Then we cut to Vacation.
Oh, whoa. No. We see two snake spirits attack her, and she escapes.
Not yet.
From the spirit portal. I have all that before.
I was gonna say first it cuts. This is one of those ones where it like does a cut and then a cut and then a cut thing.
Yeah,
because first it cuts to Vacation Tenzin where Jinora wakes up, goes to the statue room, and sees a different statue. Yeah. One actually, first off, made of wood.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's more different because it's not just a person standing there. It's like a person standing with, I'm going to assume, as a mask because there's no actual facial features, and a hood, and like two spiraling things up and around.
That's going to be important.
No, that couldn't.
Yeah, you're right. Ignore that. Don't remember that at all.
But which to me, I'm very curious about that still. But
you should be questioning it. Yeah, that's what everyone.
But I digress.
Like I always say, imagine watching this week to week like everyone else was. Like everyone's like, oh, theory crafting. Oh, well, what is this? What could it mean?
Right.
Everyone's going crazy on it.
But then we get to Korra actually in the forest,
and she finds with her fighting those snake spirits.
Yeah, she finds the actual center, and that's when the snake spirits. They had attacked her as she went to the center. Now they literally converge and become one giant evil snake thing, and they literally just try to grab her and pull her away. She avatar states and barely touches.
Yeah, very, very close to her. Just
Spirit gates open. The like the entire South Pole, the entire South Pole has the lights like the Northern Lights, and it cuts very briefly to Jinora looking at that statue, and the statue starts glowing as well. Which again, I need to know this. I need to know what's going on.
Don't worry.
And then, of course, as it cuts to Korra's dad, like, driving away, and then he actually stops and looks back, sees the lights, and he's just like, I'm proud of her.
Yeah, she did it. That's good.
And then, of course, Bolin's like, look, Korra's coming out. Yay! Gives her a friend hug, which Eska makes a giant ice wall and is like, why are you partaking in physical contact with another woman?
And he gets thinking, he's like, is this your first getting a little nervous about Eska?
and of course, Unalaq's like, you did it. You saved the South Pole. Well, you took the first step in it.
Yeah.
And in saving the world. And Korra and Mako make up, which I was happy about that.
And they do a lot of good work to make you on the side of this ship at the time.
Right. At the time.
Well, I'm saying before, like, they were really fighting all the time, but yeah.
Right. And then we just cut to them actually getting back to the town, where northern ships are, are starting to go into port, and all these northern troops are, like, storming in like they own the place.
Yep, suddenly fleets of northern tribes approach the southern.
And of course, Korra's like, what's going on? And we get the final note from Unalaq, where he's like, "You helped open the Spirit Gate. That now you've taken the first steps in helping the North and the South unify." And then we end.
Yep, that's how the episode ends. Now this is when I was going to bring up the spirits designs of these spirits.
Yes,
they're very weird, like translucent, liquidy looking, dark weirdness.
Yeah,
I really like the aesthetic of it, but also it's like, these spirits do look very different from the ones we've seen come into the Earth realm before.
The Earth realm,
like in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was going to say. I just call it the physical plane.
Yeah, the physical plane. But besides the panda.
Yeah, like when Aang dealt with spirits, they actually looked like what we would think spirits are, glowing things. Like there was like the translucent glowing panda that at first did look like a weird creature.
We said, it was like a weird lanky monster.
But it didn't look all gooey and stuff. It looked like it was solid. It actually looked like it was panda.
It didn't also like disappear and reappear. I think it teleported a little bit.
Could, and it shot like beams out of its
a lot of weird stuff.
And then of course, like just all the other spirits.
The elephant, the two koi. I forgot what they were.
Yeah, the koi.
The moon and sky one. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean the moon and night? The moon and stars?
Yeah, I was trying to remember what the heck the other one was called.
It was two like lunar kind of things. Yeah, and, they were just regular koi fish and stuff.
But they were like powerful spirits. Was it the moon spirits?
It was the moon. It was the moon spirit and some other spirit. But yeah, they were both. They were both the main like water tribe, like keeping everything that's lunar in balance.
Yeah, I was gonna say like also this brings up the point of what Unalaq's actually doing with the spirits. He seems to be doing it through waterbending. And this is like...
Yeah, see, that's why when he did the motions, it looked like it was...
he was waterbending, but he was like... It was like weird water spirit bending. This is what Ed was straining from bringing up when we were having our discussion of like how the different forms compete against each other and stuff like that. One of the things he brought up is that like, it's like a weird spirit kind of thing that waterbenders seem to be able to do. Because like, also like with the elephant koi that they healed, and like with the... Yue's hair in the episode 2, and like a weird thing with the connection between the waterbending and spiritual powers, also their healing ability and stuff like that. That waterbenders do have like a lot of weird magic stuff that's like not associated with the other ones specifically. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Well, it's a very peculiar thing. They expand on it a little bit more later, but like, yeah, it's a very weird thing that seems to be waterbending exclusive, because I'm like, yeah, maybe you could earthbend or firebend or airbend spiritually, but you don't really see that very often.
Yeah, honestly, because I think water is more spiritual, where like fire is more passion.
Might be more destruction.
Well, it's more passion and stuff, because yes, it is a very destructive force, but it's more coming from like your passion and your breathing and stuff. Where earthbenders are literally the only people who can keep their feet on the ground. But and of course airbenders are all freedom and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, but like I was gonna say, earthbending, I'll argue with anybody soon to see that it's the most destructive and the most creative.
It is,
because it can create the most, but you'll see it can also be the most destructive.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, heck, creativity. Do we need to bring up Toph again?
Yeah, and literally, I was gonna say, what was the original Bumi's city?
Ba Sing Se.
Not Ba Sing Se. Ba Sing Se was the second.
No, Omashu. Sorry,
Omashu.
This is Omashu.
Like how the whole town was like run on earthbending with all the stuff being delivered, and then later Ba Sing Se they have trams and they have like huge like all kinds of infrastructure running on earthbending explicitly, and the entire penetrable wall.
Right.
Like that. Yeah. It was like, there's something really cool stuff with that. But, like, the waterbending does have weird spirit magic as well as their water and ice and blood.
Now...
speaking of waterbenders, let's keep going with this season so
far.
Might
as well, because...
Also, I'm loving how much time they're spending in the Southern Water Tribe.
You know, I actually was happy about that, too, because in the past, you got some.
It was the first episode and the last episode of season 1.
Exactly. You got some, you didn't get a lot. In this one, we're actually focusing on it.
Yep, staying with them, seeing their infrastructure in their cities and buildings.
And speaking of focusing on it, we're going to get deep with this one because episode 3 is our first 2-parter.
Yep.
Episode 3 of this is Civil Wars, Part 1.
Yep. What happened last time, Guy?
Well, the last time Guy brings up that Korra reopened the spirit portal in the South Pole. Mm-hmm. Yay! But now, and of course that tensions are high between her and her dad.
Oh yeah.
And of course now that she knows the truth. But now northern ships are appearing in the Southern Water Tribe. What other plans does Unalaq have for the Avatar?
Yeah, we see that citizens are very unhappy with the arrival of the Northern Navy.
Yeah, like I said in the last episode we talked about, literally northern ships come in and troops come in like they own the place.
Yep.
Even stand aside, go home. We are in control now. And they even are setting up like ice wall blockades.
Yep. They're sealing the ocean docks and they're detaining people, I believe.
And of course, Korra is, concerned about this.
Of course.
So she's like, what's going on? And Unalaq ultimately is like, yes, we opened the spirit portal, but now we need to make sure that no one harms it like they did in the 100 Years' War kind of thing.
He says it's to protect the spirits from people that want to do harm to them.
And of course, at this point, Unalaq mentions that the North Pole portal needs to be open. Hush up, you.
Loud as heck.
Well, he brings up that the northern portal needs to open, which I have questions about this, but I'm gonna wait until after this episode to ask these questions.
Oh yeah, he says he wants to open the portal because there was a path that connected to them that connected the two paths in seconds.
Yes.
Yep. And he wants her to open it.
Correct.
It will unite the world.
Yep, and of course, Korra's okay with this because, well, she trusts her uncle. Mm-hmm. And of course, we cut to Vacation Tenzin.
Yep, I was gonna say we get some classic D. Bradley Baker lemurs. He did the voice of Appa and Momo back in the past.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that people actually voice animals.
D. Bradley Baker does like every animal in every show you've ever watched. He's a great dude.
Was he the one who did Hey Hey as well?
Possibly, but also I know he also did last season. He was the long hair villain politician dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm about to say not Noatak or Tarlok.
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 Yeah, Tarlok's the one.
Yeah, he was Tarlok's voice actor, but he's been in Avatar since the beginning of it. But
right. But we digress because back at Vacation Tenzin, it's finally Vacation Tenzin.
Oh yeah.
Tenzin's relaxing. Kaya's feeding the lemur monkeys. And of course, even Tenzin's like, I've never felt any more at peace. Boomy walks in nothing but a robe and his boxers, and it's over.
Yep.
And of course, Boomy's just like, yeah! Hello, world, let's do things! And of course, Kaya's like, clothes, please? And, Tenzin brings back all those childhood memories they had of going with Dad on vacations. And Boomy and Kaya are like, what are you talking about? We never did any of this stuff. You did.
Yep.
And of course, Tenzin's just like, I could have sworn, kind of thing. But Jinora and Milo appear, and they're just like, yeah, how's it going? Good morning. And Mom knows that, Pema notices that Iki's not with them.
Yep, I was going to say before that, they name dropped Kyoshi Island and Ember Island.
Oh, that's right, because the Elephant Koi in Kyoshi Island.
Yep.
Where apparently they surfed the Elephant Koi, but no, only Tenzin did.
Yep.
And then they went to Ember Island with the nice beaches where they made a lot of sand castles. And Boomy's like, you mean that you made?
Yeah, I know. Apparently it's like, Aang neglected his two other non-airbending kids, which is very like, oh, that's upsetting.
Well, his non-airbending.
Yeah,
kids.
Non-airbending kids. But he still should have spent more time with them because, like, yeah, they spend more time with Korra or Katara, who's great, but still, it's like,
right.
Yeah, oh, come on, Aang, you dumb, you screwed up again. Also, Milo asks Boomy if his gun has a baby in it.
Yes, I love that. Like, is there a baby? You and everyone, And that's when Pema's like, "Where's Ikki?" And of course, they deny who Ikki is.
Yeah,
and then, of course, Milo tells them about a story about lemurs, but the buffalo said it was okay. And then they got attacked by a squid shark, which makes Boomy go, "Oh no, my arch enemy!"
Yeah, the old squid shark nemesis of Boomy's, apparently.
Yep. And then, of course, Pema gives them the nth degree, and we find out that they were teasing Ikki, and Ikki ran away.
Yep, and so all of Aang's kids decide to get together and help try to find Ikki.
Yes. And, and of course, you can't forget, when they get back with Ikki, they're going to make a plan to get rid of that squid shark once and for all.
Yep.
But after all that, we go back to the south, which is funny because we're going from the south to the south.
Yeah, they're both southern. Yeah.
We go back to the South Pole area where, in Korra's parents' house, a bunch of the Southerners are upset because of what the North's doing.
Yep, specifically Varrick.
Most vocally, Varrick.
Varrick is very pissed
because Varrick is telling them, we need independence. We need to make sure that we actually are not a part of the North, even though we can maybe get together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Korra's like, look, he's just trying to help, kind of thing.
I was gonna say also Tonrock's being more civil with the group as opposed to Varrick, who's trying to rile everyone up.
Yeah. Varrick is like,
let's chill.
And of course, Tonrock's like,
Yep.
Korra's like, but we can't start a war. I mean, all he's trying to do is help unify everyone. So Tonrock's like, look, Korra, he'll listen to the Avatar. Maybe you can just tell him that we just are concerned about this. Korra is kind of huffy because she's still upset at her dad. No, I'll do it for the tribe, not for you.
Yep. Is this when we see Eska and Desna rickshawing Bolin?
Yep.
And we finally
being
see
the cart puller.
Yeah, we finally see their weird laugh. I was like,
it sounds like as if a goat were trying to bleat, but it didn't work.
I love it. They're great.
Okay, that was the first moment with Eska and Desna where I literally just went,
yeah, they're weird.
Because that laugh. Oh, you thought nails on a chalkboard, viewers, was a bad sound. Just listen to these two laugh for a few seconds.
We also see that Eska has plans on taking Bolin to the north with her.
Because he's like, because, they're talking about how they're going to miss this place. And, of course, Eska's not being serious about that. But Bolin's like, yeah, it's going to be a real shame. And Eska's like, but you're coming with me to the north. And we're going to live our lives through in the rest of icy bliss. And then, of course, Mako appears as Eska and Desna are doing their thing. And Bolin just is like, please help me. I need out. And Mako nonchalantly is just like, just break up with her. Guys do that all the time.
Yeah, Mako, you fucking do.
And he also, because this is important,
one of the worst things,
is like, breaking up with a girl is like having a leech on your elbow. You just gotta yank it and get it over with. And of course,
Jesus Christ, Mako.
And one of my favorite Bolin lines is, that's wonderful. It's a good thing you're good at breaking women's hearts. Korra better watch out. I'm just like, foreshadowing?
Mako's a jerk with that. That was hilarious. So, Mako's not a good dude either, sometimes.
But now back in Unalaq's lair, back in wherever Unalaq is sitting,
His weird place.
Korra, comes in and voices the concerns of the South.
Yep, leads that this might cause a war if you
also
continue to treat people like this.
Mentions that Varrick and Tonrock were talking in their place, started talking about how things are negative. That's important, kids.
Yep, he also says that if there was a war, this would only fuel dark spirits. And it would be a bad thing for the community.
And of course, Unalaq is like, this is something that you have to do. You have to bring peace and balance. You.
Yeah, you have to stay neutral. He said.
That's also the important thing. She has to stay neutral because we know Aang did that.
Yeah, right.
But then Unalaq is like, but I can make you happy because I have faith in you. And apparently that is the only thing that Korra needs to hear in order to be like, yay, I believe everything you say.
Yeah, she needs affirmation, I guess, because she's such a hardhead dum-dum.
So, we cut to some random like alleyway or something, some street where the north and the south are having a bit of a spat. You know, it's just like, oh, you kids throwing snowballs at us northern troops, how dare you? Oh yeah, well maybe you could pick on someone your own size. And of course,
some rebels are attacking some northerners after.
They're about to.
Yeah, after like some kids get in a fight with them.
Right, like tensions are really high, and of course, Korra comes in and he's like, guys, you both are of the same tribe. Start acting like it. And it happens again where people are like, you're supposed to be on our side. You're the worst avatar.
Yeah,
it happens again.
Yeah, that's a whole huge joke about Korra, about the kids saying, you're the worst avatar ever.
Right?
It's like, oh.
And then, of course, tensions are super, super high. You could literally cut them with a knife. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Tonrock appears. And he's like, hey, it ain't worth it. Let's stop. And everyone listens. Even the Northerners, reluctantly, but they still listen.
Uh-huh.
Korra just walks away from this.
Korra's like, F you, Dad, and says, like, just leaves him again, of course.
So now after this, we go back to Vacation Tenzin, where Bumi and Kaya and Tenzin are very failing at finding Ikki.
Yep, Tenzin continues the search, and we get more unfair home life stories of Aang favoring Tenzin.
Right, because, I mean, Tenzin's like, oh, this is my fault that she ran away. And Kaya's like, yeah, you were in the council for so long that you forgot you had a family. And Tenzin's like, yeah, I wanted to be more like Dad, but... And Kaya's just like, but that's the problem. You are like Dad.
Yeah.
And, of course, Tenzin is trying to defend, Aang by saying he was under a lot of pressure and stuff. And of course, Bumi's like, oh, but he always had time for his little airbender.
Yep, and then he's just like, I don't have time for this. And then I love the line from Kai, like, oh, classic airbender technique, cutting and running when things get tough. And I was just like, oof.
Yeah, I know, right?
That is very relevant to Aang, though.
Dude, she's a waterbender, and yet she can still burn.
That was a great line. I was like,
it was great. But back at the South tribe, Korra gets a summoning from her mom. And because we know this because she walks into her parents' house and she's like, "Oh, did Dad want you to talk to me?" And and her mom's like, "Look, he has no idea I'm here. Look, what's going on? I hate seeing this family being torn apart, Korra."
Yeah, and then Korra still once again blows him off regarding the situation.
Right, and actually brings up the fact that not only was it him and Tenzin that separated her and secluded her, but she mentions the banishing, and her mom's just like, oh, secret's out, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then Korra gets mad at her. But, getting mad like, oh, you're keeping secrets too. At least Unalaq trusts me. Korra's mom's like, no, I wouldn't say that. And she also mentions that,
I was like, is this scene with Korra's mom yet? Because I thought that was
it is.
A little bit later when she...
No, after the whole Tenzin and the whole, arguing, it goes straight to this scene.
Okay. Wait, no, there's a different scene with Bumi, Kaya, and Tenzin arguing because there's a double date with Bolin, Desna, and Korra.
Oh shit! Did I miss that?
Yeah. There's a couple of
No, you're right. I skipped.
Yeah, there's a double date with
right. Rewind because she gets back and she voices her concern about what happened, and Mako's like, look, do I need to just listen to you, or do I need to give you my opinions? I'm still new at this. Mm-hmm. And of course, Korra kind of relaxes, and she's talking about just how stressful it is. And Mako's like, yeah, maybe you and I can just have dinner together, just us. Korra's happy, and then we find out that it's actually with 5 people.
Yeah, it was a double date plus one with Bolin, Eska, and Desna.
And of course,
also they named up another animal, dolphin piranhas. I was just like, oh,
getting there
because
Eska and Desna are just like, we must get more sustenance.
Yeah.
And then of course Bolin's like, you gotta help me. Mako, what happened? He's like, and Mako's like, I thought you were ripping off the leech. He's like, every time I brought it up, Eska would talk about how she would freeze me and then try to feed me to
dolphin piranhas.
And of course, Mako's like, so you tugged at it. He's like, and I tugged and I can't get it off.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know that this was how they were gonna be? Korra's like, because I thought it was obvious. And then we learned something about Bolin that everyone knew about. Mm-hmm. He's very bad at reading people.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Then we go back to Vacation Tenzin again.
Yep, Boomy telling stories about Boss's mountain rescue and
3 typhoons and how he carried 12 people on his back. And of course, Tenzin's just like, okay, first off, this isn't gonna help us find Ikki. And he's like, oh, well, this was supposed to inspire you. Oh, but I guess you can't do that since Korra left you.
Yeah, the way schools him on Korra firing him was great.
Yeah, but then of course, you know, as they're arguing, Kaya's like, guys, shut up! I found footprints.
Yep. They lead down to the bottom of the waterfall.
Yeah, there's a path leading down to the bottom of the waterfall. But Boomy is like, hey, look at me! I can jump on rocks.
Yeah, he's like trying to climb down, and they're okay.
He's like, come on, guys, this is gonna be 50 times faster. Tenzin and Kaya roll their eyes. Kaya like waterbends her way down, and Tenzin airbends his way down, and they're just like, come on, Boomy, you're right. It was faster. And of course, Boomy's upset because Tenzin's the funny guy now.
Well, they just
like, hey, we can help you if you want. I can do it myself, and then falls down and hurts himself.
Falls right into the ocean.
Because as Kaya said, it's pitch black and the rocks are slippery. Because that was a smart idea.
Yep. This is when we see Korra's mom trying to tell her to be kinder to her father. Yep.
Yeah. Forgive me. Sometimes I kind of glance at my notes.
Yeah, people lose the place notes all the time. I do.
Yeah. Then Korra goes over and says like, "Oh, you know, Dad's blah blah blah, this and this," and that's when Senna is her name. That's right.
The mom?
Yeah. I almost forgot what her name was, and Senna's just like, "Yeah, so you know the truth now." Korra's like, "Oh, looks like nobody trusts me except for Unalaq," and her mom's like, "No. Don't jump the gun here."
No.
However, you think you have to bring peace, but all of this has happened well before you were born.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying that you can do this in one day, but this might just be out of your control. And Korra is just like huffy puppy whatever. And of course, Senna decides to bring up the rebellion and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Korra instantly assumes that her dad's a part of it.
Yep.
And then goes to Unalaq.
Yeah, she tells her Varrick's plotting a rebellion and Tonrock, or she assumes Tonrock's helping. It's really like, oh.
Well, her mom says that she doesn't know, and she hopes that it's not true. Korra's just like, rebellion plus dad, he's a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Korra goes to stop the rebels, but they
and does
when she finds them, they already have Unalaq like wrapped up in a sack.
Right, well, right, but then she like goes to stop them, and her dad in a mask.
Yeah, she sees one of them and like, that's my dad. And she goes to try to find him.
And then of course after all that, she actually stops them, and she reveals the masked man is not her dad. None of the.
Before that, we see she keeps telling them, like, "Come on, everybody, we're part of the same tribe." And the South is just like, "No, you're wrong, not agreeing." And then we see her take down all 5 of the waterbenders by herself.
Right.
And then she unmasks the big dude, thinking it's her father.
And it wasn't.
It's not. Yep.
Yeah, and none of the assailants were her dad.
Yep.
And of course, Unalaq wakes up after being knocked out.
Yep.
And they all get arrested, and he's just like, put them all in prison. And Korra's like, dude, no, we gotta do this differently. Oh, do you want them to be free? No, but give them a trial.
Yep.
Give them a trial because that's what they deserve. It's gonna be fair. And direct quote, all right, I will honor the wishes of the Avatar.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't the freezing prison. I was like, oh, they have ice prison? That's pretty crazy.
Well, dude, it's a prison in the south.
Yeah, but their buildings are like, I don't even know what the hell their buildings are made of. I think it's got a white rock. Cause, like,
no, it's kind of like the Inuits.
But they're not. They're stone because like they earthbend them occasionally.
No, you're right. They do.
It's very confusing because they look like they're ice. But
it's not. It's literally not just ice and snow.
I would say, I've seen the show The Terror, which takes place all in the Arctic, and it's like, there are huge swaths of just stone land that's like all around there, as opposed to just the ice parts. But it's still very confusing what they're made out of. But yeah, like they're freezing prison, they want them to, and after that they want Varrick.
Well, yeah, they want Varrick.
Yeah,
but then we cut back to Vacation Tenzin, where Kaya is healing Boomy's injuries.
Yep, more of that crazy spirit magic of the waterbenders.
And of course, Kaya brings up that Boomy's trying to do everything a bender can do, even though he can't, so he can't get used to it.
Yeah, he says Boomy's the eldest, but he's also the least mature.
Yep, and yeah, that's what Tenzin brings up, and Tenzin's like, that's why I had to be the most responsible. Kaya's like, excuse you? You think you're the most responsible? Yeah. Look, when Dad died, who was the one who moved with Mom, like moved her entire life with Mom? And of course, Tenzin's like, oh, but yeah, you had to finally settle down after trying to find yourself. And everyone is just like, he's like bringing up how, I have the entire culture on my back, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And of course, you know, there's more, like Boomy talking about special privileges.
Yeah, really just hate him for resenting him for his attitude regarding the
right, like stuff. He hates them because they don't understand what he had to go through. They hate him because, you know, he's too much like Dad. They all get angry and they go their separate ways.
Yep.
Well, before that, actually, Kaya brings up, look, you don't have to do it alone, Tenzin. We're all his kids. Let us all carry Dad's legacy.
Yeah, it's a very cool scene of them just like working out stuff that decades before the show even started that we never got a chance to see in any comics or cartoons or shows or anything like that.
And then we go back to Korra going to her parents' house, seeing her mom and dad, you know, eating. And, you know, Korra has a very, very well-deserved breakdown.
Yeah, she's very happy that finally was not involved with the rebels.
She pretty much kind of makes amends with her dad right there and then because she's just she feels really, really lousy with the way she treated him. She's really glad dad wasn't a part of it. Even her dad's just like, look, I didn't know how far Varrick was going to go. I mean, I have my differences with my brother, but I'm not going to attack him. And it's a nice, sweet little moment. And then Unalaq appears with soldiers, and it's like, you two were plotting against me and trying to assassinate me. You're all under arrest.
Under arrest for attempted assassination. That's the episode.
And that's when part 1 ends.
Yep, and that was a crazy ending to that episode.
Oh my goodness, a lot happened. And of course, that time when I said, meanwhile in Unalaq's lair. Yeah. This was when I started realizing, my vibes at the beginning were true. He is a bad guy.
But also, I was going to say, like, also, I love Korra's fighting skills. Her able to take down all 5 of those waterbenders very easily.
Yes. Then again.
Well, yeah, but also, so far this season, we've only seen everyone losing to the spirits and stuff. We haven't seen Korra actually kicking butt.
Right.
It's appreciated and great.
But now, here's one of my earlier questions. Because the Southern Lights are the spirits dancing and singing, and all because the spirit portal was opened.
Presumably.
That's what he says. Yeah, that's what Unalaq says.
That's the only thing we have on it.
And yet the northern portal is closed, and yet
the Northern Lights still continue?
Exactly. I'm like, wait a minute. Something's not right here.
Well, I was going to say that business only happened 20 years ago, and also I don't think everything's frozen and messed up as much as they don't have an Everstorm up north, I don't think.
Well, yeah, because also, that was the other thing they mentioned was the reason the lights aren't there, but the Everstorm is there because of their not unspirituality.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things because of that, but like also we see that regarding the Unalaq fixed their spirit problem like the day of them messing it up. And so they never really had a problem with the spirits, just the portal being closed. But then the South has been messed up because of the war, the 100-year war, for the past, judging by Katara's age and everything, 70, 80 years?
Yeah, judging by her... Yeah, that's right. She was at the tail end of the war.
Yeah, because, the 100-year war messed up the spirits portal for them, but then the dad's screw-up in the north was only, for a little bit, and then Unalaq fixed it. So yeah,
I still find many holes.
He's saying a lot of different things are responsible for this unspiritualness of the South, but
that's what I'm saying. He's not having a straight story here.
Yeah, well, I wonder if that'll be relevant in the next episode.
wait, the next episode? You mean episode 4, Civil Wars Part 2?
Part 2.
And I don't. It was probably live. It was probably one part, 2 episodes at the same time kind of thing, because it was part 1 to part 2 thing.
I was going to say, my first note is the last time is very, very straightforward and very, short.
Oh, there is a last time for this one. Okay, good. Yeah. But yeah, the narrator literally, like Matt said, straight and to the point. Tensions are high between the North and the South. And once Unalaq's troops enter the south, Varrick's all, let's start a war. And of course, Korra, and let's do a thing. Korra stops the rebels from doing bad, and and now Korra's parents are getting arrested. Will Korra be able to save her parents and prevent civil war?
Bum, bum, bum.
Well, you didn't have to do that.
Well, who knows?
But now we cut to literally right after Unalaq's troops arrest her parents because they're literally going into the police truck.
Yeah, the parents are getting arrested in a really cool prison truck.
Right. And of course, Korra is talking to Unalaq and be like, look, you made a mistake. And Unalaq is like, hey, first off, I've got this fair guy. His name's Judge Hota. He's going to be presiding the trial. And of course, after Korra's like, they're innocent. Unalaq's like, well, then we have nothing to worry about now, do we? Mm-hmm. Cut to a very fancy room with Mako, Asami, and Bolin.
I'm about to say, this is the first appearance of Asami in like 3 episodes.
Yeah, that is very true. She was like in the first one, and then like second and third one, she had nothing.
Yep, this is the first time back, finally.
And of course, Asami's just like, where's Varrick? We need to close this deal right now.
Right, they're in fancy apartments. So Varrick's fancy apartment is what they're in. They mentioned that. Yeah.
Well, right. And of course, Bolin's just like, hey, relax. At least Eska's not here. Cue Eska and Desna and some troops coming in. Yeah. And of course, Eska's just like, I am not looking for you, Bolin. Not this time. We are looking for Varrick because he is going to be put on trial, just like my aunt and uncle. Yep. And of course, Mako's like, wait. What?
Yep, Team Avatar finally hears about the big fight that happened and Korra's parents being taken.
Yep, and of course, as they leave because Varrick's not around, Eska mistreats Bolin, or as Matt would say, treated him fairly. Yeah, you will bow to me every time I leave. Oh, of course, my sweet. What was the animal?
I don't even know. Oh, platypus bear. Well, no, that's the platypus he's hiding in.
What did he call her?
Asami tells Bolin to stand up, and then Eska.
Well, Eska leaves, and then of course Asami's like, dude, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And Bolin's like, well, I tried, but Mako gave me bad advice. And then of course Asami's like, dude, just be honest. And then mysterious random Varrick voice from somewhere is like, nah, dude, kid.
Honest.
Yeah, you'd never be honest. Just literally, just hightail it out of there, man. Yeah.
It's like, where are fools?
Where are you, Varrick? I'm in a place where Unalaq will never find me. Opens up a stuffed platypus bear. He's like, inside Ping Ping, of course. How we looking? And of course, the coast is clear and everything like that. And he's like, I'm still gonna be in here, and decides to someone gives him a cup of tea. Because Julie is in the bar with him.
The cup of tea that comes up from the bottom.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, thank you, Julie. He's like, wait, your assistant's in there? She never leaves my side. One of my favorite lines. He sips the tea, spits it out. Yep, I got the honey. Sorry, sir. There's no honey in here. No honey? We're in a bear, for crying out loud. But anyway, as that shenanigans happening, Mako's like, I'm going to check on my girlfriend.
Yep, he leaves to go find her.
And Varrick's like, hey, Bolin, I got a little something for you. And I kid you not, right from the platypus bear's butt poops out some Yuans. Yep. A very nice, very
funny visual.
Well, no. I was gonna say a very excessive amount. I was trying to think of a different word for it.
This is for a bribe.
Yeah, and of course gives it to him for bribery. And of course Bolin's like, I'm catching what you're putting down.
I'm sure you are, Bolin.
But.
Back to Tenzin.
Yeah, we go back to Tenzin where he's like, where are you, Iki? Where are you? And then we hear in a cave far off, we actually hear Iki.
Yep.
And when Tenzin actually goes over, we see that Iki is having family breakfast with 4. Would you say
they're sky buffalo?
Yeah, I know, but would they be calves?
They're bovine, so I guess calves is probably correct.
For flying bison.
Sky buffaloes.
Are they called sky buffaloes?
They are very distinct because Appa is a sky bison, and we see the sky buffaloes are discovered in one of the comics by Aang.
Did I read that one?
I don't know, but like the buffalo or the sky bison are possibly extinct. Sky bison or sky buffalo are what they use now at the air tribes to fly and stuff.
Huh. I actually never knew that because they look almost exactly the same.
Well, yeah, they're like slightly darker furred, and that's it. That's the only difference.
I honestly thought that was just a fur distinction, kind of a brown and a black.
Yeah, I know they call them sky bison. They refer to as a different species.
Well, then they're sky buffalo.
Yep.
But anyway, and
she's having a tea party.
Well, that or a breakfast because she does a blessing. Well, she did say that Dad always says a blessing before breakfast. Mm-hmm. So, she just her version of it. And then she realizes Tenzin's there.
Yeah. Oh, she's also pretending that they're her new brothers and sisters.
We were getting there.
I thought she said that before Tenzin shows like, oh, it's me.
Nope. Because Tenzin's like, oh, she's like, we have to go, don't we? And Tenzin goes, actually, can I join you guys? And that's when she introduces every single one of them. You have Blueberry Spicehead, Princess Rainbow, Twinkle Starchild, and Juniper Lightning Bug, who are her new brothers and sisters.
Yep.
And Tenzin's like, Oh, by the way, Tenzin is sitting beside Blueberry Spicehead. That's important.
Yeah, right. I remember.
And of course Tenzin's like, oh, they're your new brothers and sisters. Can they be my brothers and sisters too? And of course Iki's like, hold on, they have to be okay with it. Yeah. No, he's nice. Yeah. Yep, they say it's okay.
Yeah.
in typical Iki fashion.
Iki's great. That was really adorable. This is when we get back to the trial.
Where Bolin sits with Asami and says, alright, so I gave the yuans to a couple of guys and told them to take care of it. And then I winked. And then, of course, immediately after he says that, you see these two random guys counting the yuans. And just like, yeah! And then you hear that Judge Hota's there, and Bolin's like, "Oh, I should have picked that guy." And Asami's like, "You think?"
That was an amazing joke.
I love that.
But also, I love they're just straight up ready to bribe judges for this. It's amazing.
But then, of course, we get the trial where Unalaq tells his side, and Korra answers the judge's questions with random Bolin interruptions.
Yep, unhelpfully. And Korra, of course, accidentally incriminates her family in the actual...
Yeah, and of course, and then that's when he's just like, yep. The judge is like, yep, I'm going to make my judgment soon.
Yep.
Cut to outside the trial where we see Eska.
Yep,
and Bolin comes over and he's
tries
like,
again.
Hey, we need to talk. He actually does the honest approach. He's like, we need to talk. At first there was this spark, and then Eska brings up how there is this giant chasm between them that nothing can actually fill. And he's like, good, you understand. And then Eska decides to pull the nothing except for marriage, and puts a engagement necklace around Bolin's neck.
Yep, and if you remember the original series, this is a tie back to Katara's grandmother marrying the Northern Water Tribe leader. He gave her the necklace, and she had that throughout the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And of course,
love that symbolism.
And of course, she's like, "We will wed at sunset." And you may express your joy through tears.
Yeah, and,
and Bolin is like crying, like, "Oh, this is too sad."
She pulls him away, choking him with the necklace. That was an amazing scene.
And then,
back
of course,
to the trial.
Yep, Hota returns and talks to Korra's mother, specifically Senna. He's like, "Senna, I found you innocent. You're free to go." So, she gets the handcuffs gone, and then, of course, yay. But then Hota goes to the rest.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the entirety of Korra right now that me and Ed constantly talk about, where the judge sentences all the rest of the rebels, including her father, to death, and then the best Korra line ever: "If you take their lives, I'll take yours." And
I'll take yours.
Oh, that moment right there is when Korra became my favorite character in this entire series.
Right?
That's insane.
She's like, you can't do this. You take their lives, I'll take yours. Even the judge was like,
Yeah, he's like, oof, oh my God, that's the Avatar, so she could. And
of course,
nothing no one could do about it.
I said Tarlak, oops. Unalaq is like, tells the judge, whoa, hey.
Just life sentences.
Yeah, just ease up. Show them mercy. And of course the judge is like, okay, fine. Lifetime in prison.
Yep. And back to Tenzin and Iki.
Where Tenzin is bonding very, very much with Blueberry Spicehead.
Yep, it's very adorable.
It is actually. And of course, Iki's like, hey, Kaya and Boomy should come here. And Tenzin's like, dude, they just ruined the mood. Iki's like, but Kaya's really super nice, and Boomy's like really super funny too. And of course, that's when Tenzin brings up, what about Milo and Jinora? Milo's really funny. You never know what he's going to say. And Jinora's really nice too. And then of course, Iki's like humph. But she's like, it's tough, isn't it? And Tenzin's like, truer words couldn't be said.
Yeah, that was a very nice, cute scene about them realizing family problems are the same, and they're really, it's hard. It's like, that's really nice,
Iki pretty much learns the value of family. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Tenzin is really happy about this, too. And he learns a big lesson, too. Yeah, he learns a lesson, too. And then they both finally decide to go home.
Yeah, the buffalo leave when they realize that their family is always there to have their backs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, of course, Iki's like, we'll come back because I know you bonded with Blueberry Spicehead.
Yep.
And Tenzin's just like, I would love that.
Very cute scene.
See, I told you it was important.
I know. And then we cut to Korra visiting her father in prison.
In prison, yes.
Yep.
Korra and her mom. And, of course, Korra's like, oh, you're...
I'm going to break you out of here right now.
Yeah, we're going to break you out right now. And her dad's like, no, don't do anything rash.
Yep.
As that happens...
We see Korra comforting her mother and is angry and feels helpless regarding this whole situation.
Yep. So and then we see just a regular road.
Oh, she says, I'm going to go after that judge.
No, she doesn't say anything.
She says she's going to go after that judge.
She doesn't say it.
She says she's going to.
No.
Whatever. We'll see.
Anyway,
yeah.
We can argue about this.
I will argue forever because I love this scene too.
But anyway, we see Judge Hoda driving away in a car and getting chased by Nagu. Yep. Which, by the way, even when Hoda steps on the gas on this vehicle, Naga is still faster than this vehicle.
Naga is still faster than the truck.
Polar bear dogs are just...
I mean, could you imagine a polar bear with the strength and speed of a dog equivalent?
I'm saying this is... fascinates me even more. And of course, Naga just beats the crap out of the machine, and Korra
crashes the car.
Crashes the car completely. Just Korra pulls Hoda out, and she's
his
like,
collar. Yeah, it's amazing.
She's like, now listen up. You're not gonna do what I want. You're gonna do what Naga wants, and Naga wants you to free my dad. And Hoda's like, I can't. I already passed my judgment. I was doing what I was told. Boom. What?
Yeah.
I said too much. I can't say anything.
Well,
and so we get the best Korra interrogation ever. We get the Naga interrogation where it literally puts Hoda inside Naga's open, fang-ridden mouth.
Yeah, I love this scene.
And she's just like, if you know what's best, unless you want to be Naga's snack, get talking. So Hoda reveals that not only was the trial rigged, plus Senna being freed and the sentence being lightened was Unalaq's plan to make Korra stay on Unalaq's side. Yep. But he also kind of mentions that how he did something in the past, how he got his brother banished in the north.
Yep.
We don't get that explanation yet, but we cut back to Vacation Tenzin for a very brief moment.
Yeah,
where,
very nice scene with Boomy.
Yeah, with Boomy, being like, hey, Dad,
talking to the Aang statue in the statue room with all the other one. He apologizes for not being an airbender. That was like, oof, that tore me up.
Yeah, it tore me up. But then he's just like, but I did, try to save the world.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kaya gives him a nice sisterly hug.
Yeah, she confronts him. I was like, oh, that's so nice for Boomy. Yeah, Boomy's a general in the National Army.
Yeah, I was going to say. He did
probably more to help the world than Tenzin did, I guess, presumably.
So, right then and there, we cut back to the apartment that Varrick is in, where Korra pretty much reveals everything. That the trial was a false...
Tells Mako and Unalaq it. Or tells Mako and Varrick about Unalaq.
And Asami, because Asami's there too.
Yep.
And of course, just reveals everything, including, we finally get the details, that Unalaq hired the barbarians to attack, and then told the barbarians to go to the Spirit Forest, knowing that her dad would chase them. Mm-hmm. So he literally rigged him being banished and the entire trial. And that's when Bolin was right. Oh, no. Bolin was correct, because that's when Mako reveals, so Unalaq wanted your dad out of the picture to become the chief, and now he wants to be the chief of the South, too. Gee, Bolin was right when they were in the fire. How about that? Speaking of Bolin...
Yep, he comes in, him and Pabu have a nice new look, looking exactly like Escan, doesn't it, with the cool bangs.
And even the robes
as
well.
Yes,
Pabu was wearing the robes too. And they both look just robes. So thrilled.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And of course, Asami's like, it didn't go well, did it? And he goes, no, it went so well that she wanted to marry me. And of course, Varrick gives the best advice ever. When you're dealing with crazy women, best thing to do is to lie big and leave fast.
It's like Jesus Christ.
But now, gather around Ping Ping. It's plan time.
Yep, they are planning a prison break.
Korra, Asami, and Mako sneak into the prison. where we see the coolest thing ever because Asami has the glove again.
Yep.
And zaps the guy holding the keys. And Korra unlocks the door, opens it up, and her dad's not there. When Unalaq is like, "Oh, I moved your dad. You'll never see him again."
Unalaq is the head of them and has him move to the north. He's setting him to the north. Yeah. Yep.
And of course, Korra's like, "You're gonna free him. I'm not gonna be manipulated by you." In which Unalaq's like, "You're the Avatar. You have to stay neutral."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And of course, she's like, "Dude, shut up. You're bringing my dad back because you need me
to open the portal." And he's just like, "No, I don't."
No, I don't. You did it. You did everything you needed to. So Korra and Unalaq just have a nice little bending fight.
Barely, they beat him.
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, it's funny. It's like they see her water bend. They can do that. They can block that easily. No. She fire bends. They can do that easily. The moment she does airbending, he's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, it's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that."
And then of course, Korra's like, "Hey, if we leave now, we can get to Varrick's boat." So they all leave. And then you see the streets where Bolin is literally marching with a platypus bear.
Yeah, the crazy platypus bear.
And the Ping, I think. is the name.
Ping, the platypus bear.
And then of course the soldiers are like, "You got a license for that?" And as Bolin's talking to the guards, we hear the second most iconic line: "Julie, do the thing." And then money starts coming out of the platypus bear's butt.
Yeah.
And then we get literally the most iconic Season 2 line ever so far. Random citizen points and says, "That platypus bear's pooping money!" And everyone goes for the cash.
That's a great
I literally had to pause the episode the first time I watched that. And I bet anything Leanne and Ed were wondering what the hell I was doing because I could not breathe because when that guy yelled that platypus bear is pooping money, I'm just like, I died.
That was an amazingly hilarious scene.
So, of course...
they get to Varrick's boat.
Everyone does, and of course...
There's a plane on the two.
Well, yeah, because Varrick is the land of convenience. Mm-hmm. Because he knows the plans and everything. Everyone's like, "Oh, look, there's a blockade. Only we had a plane." And Varrick's like, "Hey, I have a plane."
Yep.
But no runway. So he has Julie take a memo. Build runways. Yeah. So, kind of a cool scene, actually. Because
very cool scene.
Asami is piloting the plane. And as they're getting ready to take off, Mako and Korra firebend to give it like that extra oomph to actually get it out to get it out and flying. So they take care of they push aside all the blockade, and Varrick's ship gets past, and we get this interesting scene where one of the northern troops is looking and sees a platypus bear piloting the he's like, "Sir, you're not gonna believe this."
I love that they, to get to the prison boat that's already halfway gone, they crash the plane into it and they jump off, which is a really cool scene. And they rescue the dad and all the other rebels.
Right, and then of course the dad's like, "I told you not to do anything rash." And Korra's like, get in, losers, I'll explain later.
Yep.
And so they all get in, and then we go back
one last scene of
with Vacation Tenzin, where, Iki and Tenzin come back, and Jinora and Milo make up with Iki, like literally instant. Where it's like, "Hey, you're back. We're sorry. Thanks. Want to play a game? Yeah." And of course, Tenzin comes over and he's like, "Hey, sorry for actually overlooking the bad parts of Dad." And even Kaya and Bumi are like, "Hey, look, we kind of put our frustrations of Dad on you. You didn't deserve that either."
Yeah.
Kaya brings up... I almost melted at this scene because Kaya brings out an actual family picture with all of them.
Kids,
I'm just like,
it's so dumb. Yeah, it's adorable.
And then after all that, we go back to Korra and everyone that were just freed, and Korra reveals everything, and even her dad's like, "Wow."
Yeah, he's super pissed about it. Yeah,
he's like, "What?" And where in previous times during the Civil War kind of thing beginning, everyone was like, "Oh, Tonraq's a traitor," blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Well, this time it's like after knowing the truth and everything, Tonraq's like, "This is what we're gonna do," and even the guys who were calling him traitor were like, "We're with you, buddy." And even Korra's like, "I'll fight with you," and her dad's like, "No. best thing you can do is go back to Republic City and get the president on our side.
Yep.
And get all the United Forces to help the South. And of course she's like, okay, fine. So they get to go away, and Bolin is like, Korra, thank you. And Korra's like, I literally just started a civil war. He goes, yep, which means I don't get to see Eska anymore.
Aww.
Every single time he says that, you should expect this.
Of course.
Varrick notices that there's something coming at them, and not the fun thing. When Bolin looks through the telescope kind of thing, you see Eska with makeup running through her eyes.
Yeah, looking crazy, angry, more emotional than we've seen in the entire series so far.
Yeah, the most emotional we've ever seen her. And she is just beelining it straight for them. And my favorite quip ever. Bolin's like, Varrick, is this thing fast enough to escape my crazy waterbending ex-girlfriend? Why do you think I built this boat? And then they zoom off, and that's literally where it ends.
Yeah, that was a hilarious note to end on.
Oh
amazing.
My goodness. Dude, Varrick is literally the land of convenience.
Varrick is
They need something, Varrick's got it. They need money, Varrick's got it.
Well, he's rich.
They need a plan, Varrick's got it. They need a plane on a boat, he has a plane on a boat.
He's always prepared. He's a really great character. He's really funny.
He's literally in season 2, aside from Bolin, obviously, he's literally my favorite character. He and Julie are literally... dude, all he has to say is, Julie, do the thing. And she knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love it.
They have a great dynamic, and they're gonna be a series for a while. They're really funny.
I can't wait.
But, they're amazing, and Varrick's hilarious, and it's just this is a great... Well, yeah. What did you think of this first 4 episodes of the season compared to the last season?
Okay, look. The first 3 episodes of season 1, because that's what we did for an episode... built everything up, and it was spectacular. I loved it. I instantly fell in love with how Korra was compared to how Aang was. Don't get me wrong, Aang was amazing, but I like how they did this different approach with Korra and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
These first 4 episodes, they literally did everything in these first 4 episodes that Korra the first season had to do in the first half of season 1. There was great tension. There was drama, there was action, there was fun moments, there was every single thing. And then they had to throw in Varrick.
Yeah, who's goddamn amazing.
Yeah, Varrick is literally my favorite character so far in season 2 specific. His introduction, because I will fight anyone, I will punch anyone in the face. Bolin is best boy. But
Varrick is hilarious.
But aside from all of that, heck, we're finally getting into the more spiritual things. Because, she finally connected with Aang at the end of season 1.
Yep.
But now we're getting deeper into it.
Yep.
And not just the whole connecting with past avatars. We're actually getting into spirits.
Oh, dude.
They look so different right now.
You have no clue where this is
going
to go. Because, there's a reason this is called spirits. Because it is all about, given the villain, presumably, for what you see so far in the series, Unalaq, you can see, okay, this is going to be about, spirituality in the Avatar world, and it's going to be really, really fantastic.
My goodness.
With it.
In the first one, the first season was definitely was about change.
Yeah.
Because everything was technologically more advanced. People had different ideologies rather than what Aang had. They were evolving. Then again, 100 years will do that.
Yeah.
But then...
Or however long it's been. The only person judged by is Katara.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Korra, obviously, because it's been 100 years. Every Avatar comes
Aang's been passed away for at least 17 to 20 years.
Well, right, but I'm saying the new Avatar comes up every 100 years.
No?
They're
whenever the person dies. Kyoshi lived for 400 years.
Wait, she lived for 400?
About. This also ties into regarding Aang dying presumably proportionally young to every other Avatar who lived for 100 plus years. The creators addressed this, saying that Aang used up his extra Avatar time being frozen for 100 years.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he didn't live as absurdly long. Because, if you look at Roku, look at that, all the other ones, they live for 100 plus years.
But it makes sense. Because he was frozen for 100 years. Because he was frozen for 100 years. That technically made him in the first episode 112.
Yep, and also he lived till whatever Katara's age minus 20 or whatever.
Minus 17, 20 years.
Yeah, and then that's how long ago he passed away. So he was not that old. He would have been probably maybe 50s or 60s.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, which is upsetting.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
I mean, it is upsetting, but
but that's like they all have extra time and they all have extra stuff like that. But yeah, Korra's so much has changed throughout the series and just like this whole season. Well, so much focusing on the water tribes, which you never got much of in the other seasons.
Yeah, I mean the only like important thing in Avatar: The Last Airbender was he has to go to the North Pole and train. Boom. Done. That's it. Now we're actually getting into like the North and the Southern water tribes getting into a civil war. Yeah. We're getting into some important water tribe stuff. Mm-hmm.
It's really, really cool.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep, and it's only going to get crazier from here because next week we're covering, or next week, 2 weeks from now after the Young Justice episode, we're going to be covering another 4 episodes because there's another 2-parter. A very, very important one that I have a personal connection to because I saw it before everyone else at a Comic-Con way back in the year. They played
like the actual full episode?
Yeah, I saw the first, of the 2-parter. It's a very distinctly different than usual episode. That's all I'll say. But like, I saw the first part of that at a con, like weeks before it aired. And it was just like a whole cool experience seeing that a huge group of people. We'll talk about that when we actually watch the episode. But it's really fantastic, and we can't wait to get to the next 4.
Yep, I'm getting spoiled again because rather than the usual 3, I'm getting 4 episodes again.
It's a really good 4 episodes too.
Oh my goodness.
We're heading back to Republic City, presumably.
Oh, I hope so. Don't get me wrong. I love this whole thing with the water truck, and it would have been interesting to see this entire season just be in the South.
I'm not going to say anything, but you'll see. It's very,
obviously, they have to go back to Republic City to get the president on the side. Yep. If he will, if he won't, I don't know.
Yeah, there's going to be some crazy stuff. The season's going to go places you're not going to predict.
My final thought on this before we wrap up. What is with that wooden statue in the statue room?
Hey, don't worry about that. That's not important.
Screw you. I'm going to worry about that all the live long day. Like working on the railroad.
Oh, Jesus. Terrible.
Anyway. But thank you, everyone, for listening to us.
Plugs, Ben? Any yet?
Not yet, but I'm actually, now that my personal stuff is coming to a wrapping close, I can finally start working on that Facebook page I said about.
All right.
What about you?
I have the Matthew Lewis P on Twitter. I have Matthew Lewis Podcasts Patreon. Still looking for patrons. I have the Matthew Lewis Podcasts YouTube, which is probably one of the most frequent places this is looked at. And, make sure you rate 5 stars and you leave reviews and stuff.
Oh, put those plugs in.
You literally need that to survive on annoying iTunes. Like, you need to have... It's a horrible shilling annoyingness, but you need to, have people actually give 5 stars or, you need to get put on the front page or actually promoted for similar stuff. It's annoying. It's a nightmare.
That is. I can understand
but that. But that's anything. But, all right. That all, dude?
Yeah, I mean, that's about everything we can. We'll see y'all next week.
See you later. Keep it slazy.